Hi guys, welcome to Charities Bubble, your number one channel. Guys, I am here. I have another new topic today. I want to talk to the students who are wishing or who have an idea that they want to come and study in the US. But before that, let me acknowledge my subscribers. Guys, you are awesome, and thank you for supporting this channel. Actually, we have reached 2589 subscribers, just 11 to be 2600. Guys, consider subscribing if you have not subscribed to this channel. If you are new here, welcome. This is Charities Bubble USA number one channel, where we talk about different pathways and how you can successfully come and live in the US. So for those who are new here, my name is Charity Nganga. Charities Bubble USA is the channel, is the best channel that you can hear the information about US. And I'm very passionate about talking about US because I came here as an immigrant. I won the DV lottery 7 years ago now, and now I am a US citizen. So I have gone through that process from winning the lottery, from being a permanent resident, all the way to becoming a US citizen. So guys, that's why I like to talk about this. I like to share with you guys so that you can see where you fit or how you can be able to successfully come and live in the US. Now, today is the 6th of November 2021. That means that we only have 3 days to go until the lottery is closed. So I hope that you have applied for your DV lottery and you have gotten done with it. And that is why we have to talk about other different pathways that you can use to come and live in the US. Now, let us talk about the student visa. Because you know that there's some people who are willing to apply to come and study in the US. So what are they supposed to do, or where are they supposed to go? Now, we have two categories of visas. We have the F visa and the M visa. Now, I'm basically going to talk about the F visa, F1 visa. Now, that is if you want to enter the United States to come and attend university, you want to enter United States to come and study high school, private elementary school, seminary, conservatory, or another academic institution, including a language training program. Now, we also have another one called an M visa, whereby it's a vocational or other recognized non-academic institution other than a language training program. Now, those are the two kinds of visas that are there for our students. So if you're there and you are thinking of coming to do your higher education here in the US, I am talking to you today. Now, you find that before you even start the process of going to the embassy and anything, the first thing that you should consider is to look for a student that has a student and exchange visitor information service, whereby you find that they can take international students. I know that here in the US we have some programs whereby there are some kids who come from different countries and they come and to high school, especially some of them are from Mexico. And I know that we get so many newsletters, especially from high schools, whereby they are looking for people to host these kids. But specifically, these kids have come here to study high school. But I want to basically touch on people who have come here for university or college. And soon, I am going to invite a person who has come here through that way, so that they can tell us how their journey was and what they went through, because it is always good to hear from the horse's mouth. Now, you find that it has to be an student acceptance at an SEVP school. That means that it must be approved. So it's not any college. It's not any college. It's not any high school. There are those specifications, because you find that, let's assume that you have applied for a college in a school. Maybe you land in a private school, you find that private schools, even for us citizens, and I'm not saying that private schools are bad, even for us citizens, you find that they are very, very expensive to make the payments. And here you are an international student, so you might be limited to loans and grants. So you should be looking for those schools that best fit your pocket, because you find that when you go to the American embassy, you will have to prove that you are able to pay your school fees without any hardship. Your bank statement must be able to show that. Now, let us look at how to apply. How do you apply? How do you do the application? I've said, first of all, is to identify those schools that are taking international students. And what you do is that you just go to their website, and you pay some money called Service 1901 fee, whereby after you pay that money, you will be issued with an I-20. They will issue you with an I-20. So you pay that amount in a SEVP approved school, and they will issue you with a Form I-20. So that Form I-20, when you get it and you register in the service, you may apply at the U.S. Embassy or Consulate for a student F or M visa. So getting an I-20 doesn't mean that you have gotten the visa. Now you will do the application after you have paid the Service 901 fee. Then you will get your I-20, and then after getting your I-20, you are going to apply for a F1 visa or an M1 visa. Now, when you have applied for that one, remember you have to present the Form I-120 in your interview. Together with the other documents that they will require from you. The first one that you should have is the Form I-20, because that is like the invitation. It's the invitation form, or it is the approval that the school in the US is willing to admit you to go and study in their college. Now, you find that if your spouse or your children want to live you in the US, you can, but even them, they must enroll in the service and obtain individual Form I-20s in an SVP, from the SVP approved school, and apply for a visa, but they do not have to pay for the fee. So you are the one who will pay for the service fee, but your spouse and your kids are not going to pay for that, but they will still require the Form I-120, because those ones are benefiting from you. They are benefiting from you. So it's always important to know that there is that option whereby you can go with your family, and how you can apply for them. Now, you find that there's a website that you can visit, Education USA, whereby you will be able to know what kind of schools you can attend in the US, and what they require. So that website is called Education USA, and there's a lot of extensive information about education in the US and how to go about that. Now, after you have had that, the next thing that you are going to do is to apply for to fill out an online DS-160. Online DS-160. Now, this is a form that talks about you. This is a form that you give an overview of yourself. You give your background information. You give your passport number. You give the years that you have studied and the schools that you have started. Everything about you are going to fill out in the form DS-160. And remember, the DS-160 is like your test. It's like that test that you are making for yourself. So like I say, with all these documents that you file online, you must be able to identify what you filled out, so that in case you go to the American embassy and the consular asks you a question in the DS-160, you are able to answer correctly. So guys, the form DS-160 is what is filled out. Now, when you do that online visa application, print it, print the confirmation page. It's going to give you a confirmation page after you submit it, and that one you will take it to your interview. Okay. Now, another thing is that they will require photos. They have photo requirements whereby these photo requirements are the same as the ones that you were talking about in the DV program. Remember that photo must be in color. You must not be in uniform. Remember that your eyes must be open, looking at the camera. All those things, they apply to that photo. So a photo is very, very important because, like I said, it is an identifier. It identifies it. It stands in place of you, and it gives all your features, all your natural features. So the photo is very, very important. And of course, remember, you must have a valid passport. Like I said, if you are planning to move out of your country to go abroad, the first thing that we require to have is a passport. So always have that, because in your DS-160 you will have to write your passport number. So very, very, very important information. After you have filled out the DS-160, what you are going to do is to schedule an interview. Like I said, depending on the country that you are in, you normally go to their website. For example, if you are in Kenya, you will go to Nairobi. The consular estate, the consular center, sorry. Oh my gosh. The consular center in Nairobi. And then in their website, you will go and look at their calendar. They always have a calendar. And that calendar, you are going to see the available dates for the interviews. And I have done this because I had to invite my parents to come for my graduation in the US. So what I did, I went to the website for the American Embassy in Nairobi, and there's a calendar there that you choose the date that you want to go for your interview. You find that those interviews are very early in the morning. They will give you 6 a.m. or, like very, very, very early in the morning. So you will choose the date that is convenient. And remember, guys, I said, if you know that you have chosen a certain day and you have extenuating circumstances. Extenuating circumstances is whereby you will not be able to attend that meeting or that interview because of an emergency. You must be able to call them and reschedule your appointment. Call and reschedule your appointment. You should not be a no-call, no-show. What do I mean by a no-call, no-show? A no-call, no-show is that person who has an appointment, or they're supposed to show up somewhere, and they do not show up, and they do not make a phone call. Now, that's a bad thing. It's a very bad, very bad thing. If you miss and you did not call them, that means that you are a very, very unreliable person. You have to be a very, very reliable person. So like I said, the country that you live is where that you are going to schedule your interview. Okay, now, if you are applying for a visa, a student visa, if you are 13 years and younger, you find that normally they are not going to interview you. Normally, they are not going to interview you. If you are 14 years old to 79 years old, you will have to go through the interview and prove beyond reasonable doubt that you will go to school in the US and go back to your country. Now, I'm going to talk about that towards the end of the show, so that you can be able to convince the consular that you will go to school and you will be able to come back. So very, very, very important there for you to do that. Now, the wait times, they will tell you the wait times, and it varies by location. The interview wait times, it varies by the location. So when you look at their calendar, you will get to know this is the time that I can go, right? Okay. Now, for you to when you are going to the interview, remember that you had paid the money for the service, and you had been issued an I-20. So what is an I-20? An I-20 is like an invitation to go and study in that school, and it normally gives you 120 days or 90 days for you to go and attend the school. And most of the time, they are issued at the beginning of the year. Like I said, the year starts in fall. Schools open in August 17, 18, 19. that is when our year starts, and that is when international students are admitted to schools. Now, you find that I was talking to this person, and they were saying that they had done an application, and unfortunately, the person who had given them the bank statement had died. But when I look at this time, we are in the second quarter of the semester, so you find that they might not be taking international students. So if you have missed this time, 2022 fall, then that means that if you want to do an application, you can start early, but you will be admitted next year in fall, because that is when the school year starts here in the US. So it's very, very important to know the times, the times that you are going to do the application, the times that like just it's good to do it early, but remember that when the college is wanting to send you the I-20, they will send you within a maximum of 120 days, that is 3 months, for you to have attended the school. Now, what is required for you when you are wanting to come and study in the US as as an international student? Passport, very, very, very important. You also need the non-immigrant visa application, that is the DS-160. The confirmation page, you have to take that with you in the interview. Now, normally you find that when you are applying for these kinds of visas, they will tell you where to go and pay. Maybe they will tell you, excuse me, I'm yawning. It's 1:34 a.m. here in the US when I'm making this video, so it's a little bit late at night, but I have to do this now. Guys, remember, they will tell you to go and pay at a certain bank. So you will go and pay the money, and then you have to have the receipt, because you will have to present it at the embassy, your respective embassy. So you must have that one. Now, another thing is the photo. I have talked about the photo. If you go to my video, watch this video up here, and you will see the photo requirements. They are always the same. The photo requirements are always the same. And why I like the US system is that most stuff is always the same. So if it is the photo, it doesn't matter what kind of visa you're asking for, but what is there is that it is going to be uniform. Everything is uniform. So that photo is very, very, very uniform. Now, the other thing is certificate of eligibility for non-immigrant F1 students, for academic and language students. That is a form I-120. You must have that one. That one you have to go with date to your interview. You have to go with that, because that one shows that you have been invited by a certain school to go and study there as an international student. So do not forget that. Now, the other thing is that you have to take transcripts. Transcripts are supporting documents showing that you have gone to this school, or you had gone to this school, and you present original documents of that. Very, very important. Now, they will also want some test scores required by your US school. So, for example, the school that you have applied, they will tell you that you have to have passed some scores. You have passed, like I remember, even when I came here and to go to school, you find that they did some tests, some entrance tests, just to test in math, to test in English, to test in proficiency. So that is the same thing. So there are some colleges which will require you to go and do those tests. So make sure that you have done those tests, and then after you do those tests, then you go with the results of those tests, because that places you on where you are going to study whatever. So they are called standardized test scores. Now, the other thing that you require is your intent to depart from the United States upon completion of the study. I'm reading from travel.state.gov. So your intent. So how do you prove your intent that you will go back home? How you prove that is you will show them. You can have maybe something like a title deed of your land, or maybe you can have a job. There are some people who have jobs, and at the same time they are going to school, whereby you can tell your employer, please write a letter for me so that I can take to the American embassy stating that after I go to study, at this time I will come back and resume my job. The other thing that is very, very important that can show that you will go back is family ties. Strong family ties. Maybe you have a mom, you have a wife, you have children. You have to prove to the consular that you will go back to your family. That is very, very important. Otherwise, if you are not able to prove that, you will find it very, very difficult. You will pay that $160 and you will not be given the visa, which will be very, very sad. It breaks people. It does break people when you go to the American embassy. You know that you have paid all that money because it's a lot. If I am counting $160, that money in Kenya is a lot. It's close to 60,000 and some hundreds on top, because I know right now the dollar is trading at 100 and something shillings. So guys, you have to be well prepared for the interview. Very, very important. The other thing is that they will want you to have to show you how you will pay all education, living and travel costs. So how do you show that? You show that through a bank statement. Now your bank statement is not going to be 1 year before. It is not going to be 1 month before. Make sure that you are taking a bank statement that is 6 months. Oh my gosh, 48 hours from the time you got it from the bank. That is current. So if you know, if I were you and I was going for the interview, and maybe I'm going to interview on a Friday, I would go on Thursday to the bank and get the bank statement. If I am going for the interview on a Monday, I would go to the bank on Saturday morning, very early in the morning, and get a bank statement, because you will need a current one. They want to see that there is money, enough money in that account for you to be able to pay for your fees. Now, I also talked about another viewer who was telling me that they had what do we call it, a bank statement, but after having the bank statement, the person with the bank statement passed away. So they were asking me if they could get someone here in the US who could help them to secure a loan here in the US. Now that doesn't happen here. You find that before you come here to the US and look for other ways, you must show the consular in your respective countries, American embassy, that you will be able to pay for your fees. Otherwise, if you do not provide a bank statement, you are not going to be given a student visa, because they will be like, how is this person even going to pay the school fees for themselves? I know after you come here, you can stay for 1 year, for 2 semesters, and then if it's really, really hard, then you can go and talk to your counselor in your school and ask them for, tell them that you're having a hardship. They have a ways of helping people. But make sure that before you go for that F1 visa in the American embassy, you have a good bank statement. If you don't have a good bank statement, you are going to be denied the visa. So you really, 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 really need to know that. So that's very, very important on that area. Now let's assume that you had come here with a B1 visa. You had come here as a visitor. Can you attend school? No, you cannot attend school, because when you come here as a visitor, you are a visitor. So you have to know these kinds of visas and the restrictions. So there is no way that you will come here as a visitor, because I've received that question to someone asked me, when I am a visitor, can I come and go to school in the US? No, you cannot. The only thing you can do is that you can change your visa. You can come, you stay, and then you consult your local immigration office and tell them, I have seen a college that I am interested in going to. So can you change my visa from a B1 or B2 to an F1 so that I can study in the college? Things like that have happened, because if you are interested in going to a school, they are not going to deny you that that chance. They will not deny you that chance. So it's very, very, very important for you to know that information before you go to apply, or you go to, you take any step. You have to know what is required. Now, the other thing that is required for you is to attend for your visa interview. You must show up. If you are not going to show up, make sure that you make a phone call and reschedule the appointment, because if you do not do that, then you are going to be a no call, no show, and that could be even grounds for them dismissing your case because they will say that you are not interested. Hmm? Now, so you will be interviewed by a consular to see for them to see if um, you are qualified to receive the visa. Hmm? So the consular at the end of the day is the one who will determine. So like I said, when you are going for the interview, make sure that you're dressed nicely like a student. Make sure that you're having confidence. Always remember to maintain eye contact because here we believe that if a person is maintaining eye contact, they are able to retain 80% of the information. Of course, it shows that they are interested in what they are being told. And like I said, you have to be able to prove to the consular that after you're done with your studies, you will go back to your country. Now, when you're given the visa, when it is stamped on your passport, there's one thing that you should know, that being given the visa is not a guarantee that you will be allowed to enter United States. You always have that lingering in your mind. So you always have to follow what they have told you to do to increase your chances for entering the US. I know that there are some people who have come to this country, they have reached the port of entry and they have been told to go back. And that happens if, let's assume that you had gone with a student visa and then you come at the immigration office and maybe you are saying that you are going to Wichita. Maybe you are going to Wichita State University. And when you reach the port of entry, instead of telling them that, because they will ask you, which school are you going to? And then instead of saying that, you tell them that you are going to Alabama or you are going to California. If you make a mistake of changing, they will take you back very fast. It doesn't take so many questions for the immigration officer to send you back home. It only takes changing of mind, because people like changing their mind a lot, especially when you get the visa. When you get the visa, it's not a guarantee that you will come and be admitted in the US. Even when you are whatever, even when you win the lottery, it is not a guarantee. There are some things that could make you to be denied entry to the US. So when you get that visa, the F1 visa, you must be able to stick to where you're going. So and also have in hand the duration of time. You have all that in mind. Of course, you should have carried your I-20 in your in your bag, the one that you are inside with in the plane. In case they ask you for that, then you can be able to present it to them. So very, 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 very important. Now, so after you have, let's assume that you're coming for a course that is going to take you 4 years, or yeah, that is the maximum, because you have to do general eds and then you have to do your major. Because you will not come wherever. When you come, there are some classes that they will have you take, because every course requires some prerequisites. So they might tell you this is what you need. Maybe some of them will take 1 year, maybe some of them will take 2 years. It depends on the individual college, and then you will do your major. So it depends a lot on the individual college that you are going for. Now, if you want, after you are done with school, the F1 visa requires you to leave United States within 60 days after you have graduated. After the end date of your program, you must be able to leave the country within 60 days. Now, if you do not want to leave, kindly ask for an extension through the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, through the USCIS. Ask for an extension. Do not violate your visa by overstaying and not asking for an extension, because if you do that, then that's a violation, and it could lead to them telling you to go back home. Here when they want to deport you, there is something called self-deportation, whereby they tell you need to go back home. And there's another one whereby they will tell you, they will come and then you will be gotten by the officers and then you will be shipped back home. So it depends. So guys, you have to be very careful not to violate your visa. You cannot violate your visa. I know that there are some people who are given time. They are told after 90 days you should leave US. I've had a close contact with a person who was told that, and they had to leave. They had to leave when they had been given that deadline. So if you know that you are going to extend your stay, make sure that you are notifying the USCIS so that they can tell you what to do. And most of the things that people fail is because they do not have information, they don't know what to do, and they have finished school. So make sure that you are learning this information from travel.state.gov. This website is there for us to study and learn and know what we are required to do, and the kind of visa that we have. Because the other visas that I will be talking about, like I said, they are non-immigrant visas. They are visas that you're here in the US temporarily, and they expect you to go back. So if you feel like you want to extend the time, then you have to tell them. It's better you tell them that you need to extend the time. Now, of course, you can change the status of your visa. Very, very important. And that is if you ended up marrying a US citizen, whereby if you marry a US citizen, you are able to change your status. If you are offered an employment, you can be offered an employment after you finish your college, you get your degree. You find that you can change that to a work visa, a work permit. Those companies, they go, they request on your behalf, and then you get a work permit to work here in the US. Okay? So, you can also consult the website about working, work study. Work study is whereby you are working, and at the same time, you are going to school, but you find that for students, they have a restriction. They only work for 20 hours, only 20 hours. And it can be within the college. They only allow you to work outside the college when it is summertime, And of course, you find that when you are given your social, it has a restriction. It has a restrictions. So you find that you cannot work anywhere. You cannot be going to. It's not like a permanent resident. Like they can go to school and go to work whenever they feel like. No, this one, it has restrictions. It does have restrictions, and of course, you can only work for 20 hours if you are going to school. So very, very, very important. Now, so you have to look at all that stuff so that you can know what to do. Now, if you are given the F or M visas, can you enter United States 30 days in advance? Now, you are not permitted to enter United States earlier than the 30 days before the start date of your program. So you should know that. Even if you got your visa early, you cannot enter earlier than 30 days. So maybe you say that you want to enter 2 months before. They are not going to allow you to enter. Okay? So very, very, very important for you to know that. Now, you find that if your visa expires, because it can expire, and you want to renew it, you use the same process that you did to do the application, and then you can renew your visa. Can you be denied an F1 visa? Yes, you can. And this one is related to maybe you have committed crimes. Maybe you do not have something like a bank statement. Maybe your documents are not in order. Maybe your story is not corresponding to what you are saying. Maybe you do not show the intent of going back home after you have finished your study. So you have to be able to have this on your fingertips before you go for those interviews, so that you are getting maximum benefit from it, because it's not just for the sake of it. It's for you going for the interview and succeeding, because when you succeed and you get the F1 visa, there are so many benefits, guys. There are so many benefits of coming to study in the US, because you find that you're young, you'll meet people in college, you're young, you can have a good life, So it's a very, 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 very good way that you can apply and come and live here in the US as a student, go to school in the US. And of course, if you want to go back home and practice wherever that you have studied, you still stand a higher chance, because if you have studied in the US, I'm not trying to discredit other schools outside the US, but I know that US is good. US is good. It's a first world country, and everything is always at your disposal. I've gone to an American college, and they have everything. You find that even if it's let's assume it's you're doing something like nursing, for example, and you need people to work on, you find that they have these big dummies, like they're simulated, whereby they act like people. You can enter a room that has all those dummies, and they're just like patients. Some of them talk, some of them cry, it's a real thing. Like they have all the equipment that you need to study. They have everything that you need to study. So you find that it will be an advantage if you came to study here in the US. Like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how much I can tell you. If you go to an American classroom, it's awesome, 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 guys. So if you have been thinking of applying for this kind of visa, I have given you an overview. For more information, go to travel.state.gov and look out and see if there is anything else that you want to add to it, just to know. And if you have any question, guys, put it there on the comment section and I am going to answer your question. So thank you for watching this session. Until next time, thank you and God bless you.